look at those! That's it! Booties have won! They are your champions for the second Overwatch League!
I'm as well.
Line up. They see the Roadhog just chilling over on the left side, so they're gonna go in here. What was that? Was it just?
There are the kills. Rialto is not gonna be ringing tonight. The Kanto Cantaloupes are your Overwatch League Season 5 champions. And the Picard Machines coming back from behind are gonna taste victory.
The Ajax to end the season! And the Marshmallow Monsters have won the Booty Bowl! They take home the Ryan Boone Trophy. The Ferris the entire season have finished, basically claimed their destiny, it feels like, here in the grand finals. And like the yeast in the oven, they will rise above the competition. Put in the oven at 425 and set for 16 weeks, and you've got yourself a champion.
The Zealous Zenith take home the Season 4 of Aurora Esports. Big congratulations to all of these players.
We send our worst basketball players, and they send us their best Overwatch players, as Guangdong are your Season 5 champions.
We're good.
Oh, hello, and welcome everybody to Season 6 of Aurora Esports. I'm a caster, War. Joined with me is Zojalyx, correct?
Zojalyx, yes. Hello,
Yes.
everybody. I am very excited to be here. I am brand new, actually, casting here for Aurora Esports. So I'm excited to be here for this season opener.
And we are very excited to have you. We also got Corey on the prod desk, but we're going to start talking about this first match that we see on screen here. We got the Stuhr Schnabeltier probably the hardest name to pronounce in Aurora Esports history, versus the Tokyo Zillas, maybe one of the easiest names to pronounce in Aurora Esports history. So you got a big match going on. Who's gonna win? Hard versus easy names. Both these teams took very different drafting approaches, but they both have two of these carry players in Neptune and Vind on their respective sides. Now the main difference here is Neptune's more of a DPS and maybe a support player. You could see him debut on support this season. Well, Vind is big tank player, took a hiatus from the league last season, but now is coming back and has a very good team around him in the Tokyo Zillas.
Honestly, looking through each of the stories of the teams and how they all came together, it is really interesting to see how all of these players are going to mesh. Now, one of the things I'm definitely looking at with this particular matchup between the Tokyo Zillas and the Stuhr Schnabeltier, I'm just going to commit to the name. If I mess it up, I don't care. I don't know why you guys thought that was a good team name idea, because you're just making our lives difficult. But as we're looking at this, I believe it was one player who took, Witherin for the Tokyo Zillas came off of a single season hiatus to pair here with Vind on this team with the Tokyo Zillas. So I'm excited to see what they're going to be doing together after that one season hiatus, and seeing how Ruben is going to pick things back up as we are getting ready to load into game number 1 on Lijiang Tower here. I'm very excited to see what we're going to be seeing from these two teams.
Yeah, and a bit of a hint, just looking at the matchup we have so far, if the case is that Neptune is on DPS and Spartan Sacea are on DPS, I'm assuming they're putting Neptune on DPS to sort of mark the Spartan Pharah. Spartan is known as a self-proclaimed Mercy 1 trick in the league, but it is their first season, so we'll have to see if that actually holds true. But is also a alleged very good ground Pharah, so having the double flyer composition for the side of the Stuhr Schnabeltier gives Spartan not many targets to look at. He doesn't really have a go, and you have two of the best flyers. You have Zinth, Grand Finals champion, and Neptune, Grand Finals second place from last season. A quick TP out from the side of the Zillas, so they might be getting to the point first, but the high ground advantage will go over to the Schnabeltier.
Oh, most definitely. You can see Vind putting out a lot of damage on this Orisa, trying to keep the rest of the enemy team, the Schnabeltier, off the point. It's going to be unlocking here in 7 seconds, so these early team fights are going to be pretty huge. The Zillas seem to be getting at least a little bit of control, but the Schnabeltier, they're not looking to make this easy. They're actually starting to push the Zillas back, and while my money was on the Zillas together, the Schnabeltier, they're showing some great synergy as that's going to be the first 2 kills going in favor of the Schnabeltier, while only 1 kill on the side of the Zillas.
Yeah, I love this double flyer composition that the Schnabeltier have really picked up here. I feel like it works so well into what they're trying to do. Booney's obviously a very versatile tank, but has been shown to be probably one of the best balls in the league. And then you're putting in probably the 2 best flyers. Zinth is debatably the best flyer in the league, and Neptune is probably the second best. It makes it a lot of pressure for Met and Spartan to really mark these flying players, but it's so hard to do that. And Neptune already with the early duplication on the point.
Oh, and taking a lot of damage. Does manage to stay alive, though Milo, 16 Milo does go down, which gives the Schnabeltier a pretty big advantage, as now that is going to be 1 support down, 1 DPS down, traded out on the other side as well. This fight is showing up to be pretty well even. Vind is going to be popping the ultimate, looking for something huge, doesn't find quite anything, but that is going to be a good follow-up from the rest of the team. And Neptune and Drew go down. Vind taking a lot of damage, but manages to stay alive. Zilla come out on top with this team fight.
Yeah, and Zilla holding out strong, getting the point flip of, I guess, a while ago due to a quick rotation to the point. They're now in a fairly substantial lead overall. They also have some big ultimates coming up to counter the barrage from Zinth. Those have known been massive, and the mines from Booney to sort of zone out the point. It's all the key for the Zilla here, though, is to just stay on this point and make sure they're marking the other DPS, because they're not able to mark Neptune and Zinth on these off angles, not able to do anything. And Spartan with a boop kill already may put a halt to the push for the Schnabeltier.
The Schnabeltier are definitely going to be in a rough state here, especially as they only have one ultimate available. Booney is coming up close on that ball ultimate, but Spartan, Milo, and Withrin all have so many abilities to ultimates ready to chain together. And the Zillas, they just have to hold for just a little bit longer. They don't have a lot of fighting that they need to do. Booney is going to be popping the ultimate. That's not going to find what they need as the counter of the sound barrier will come through. The 2 Kitsune rushes pop, and that's going to be Drew going down. Met follows through. It's a 1-for-1, but the Zillas are going to hold on. Overtime gets popped as Booney is in the point, but the rest of the Zillas are straining in to try and get in there. Zinth pops the ultimate, doesn't find anything. Spartan is down without the use of the Pharah ult, and the Schnabeltier managed to hold on in overtime with a beautiful fight. Nice chain of ultimates, and they hold on for just a little bit longer.
Yeah, that was a really good ult combination there. Still ult being used. The beat from Neptune is going to help with a bit of sustain, but I don't think they're going to need it. Now the question is, was that a bit of an over-investment for the Schnabeltier? I mean, obviously in that moment, they needed those 3 ults to hang on in the fight, but a lot of big ultimates coming back. You have Spartan with a barrage, you have a pulse from Met, and you have Vin with the ult of his own. Trades go out even ways as this fight on point breaks out.
And Met takes out one support, so it's a DPS for a support, but Milo and Withrin get taken down. Zinth and Neptune find some huge kills, and the Schnabeltier are managing to hold on. The rest of the Zillas are going to be forced to back up, but getting ready for at least one more fight. The Zillas do have 3 ultimates to work with.
The important thing to consider is Zillas did have time to scrim before this. I'm not sure if the Schnabeltier can say the same, so they have a bit more of that team coordination being led by somebody like Vin too, who can just send it on to point is sometimes what you need, but Withering goes down early, ult popped, but no exchange is found for the side of the Zillas. It's all red in the kill feed.
And a beautiful fight there, exactly what was needed from the other team. So hopefully this we'll see some more shift here as the Zillas still need to get one more good fight. Vind is going to be swapping over to that Diva. Time is going to be running out. This is going to be the fight that they're going to need if they're going to want to make anything happen here.
And Spartan a little bit late off spawn, going onto the Reaper here. Vin probably on a better counter character, with a lot of ults building up. It's a question of can he do anything? Zinth with an early pick onto Withering again. It seems like he's just not able to keep up with these rotations. And Zinth finds the second on point, trying to be the hero. Vin and Milo both exchange, but the ults are totally in favor of the Schnabeltier, and the point's just gonna go in their way. There was nobody to touch, and the members were not in the favor of the Zillas. So despite a very strong start for the Zillas, it looks like the Schnabeltier have started figuring out how to make this double flyer work.
Definitely for what you can see there, that as they were asking in the chat is reposted, Booney was ballin', and Booney at the very end of that was absolutely ballin', and you can see the changes that are going to be happening here from the Zillas. We've got Ved moving over to the Junker Queen, we've got Spartan moving over to Soldier 76, Milo on the BAP, an entire comp change as we get ready for the second point. Now I'm interested to see kind of how these teams are going to, how specifically the Zillas are going to answer back. They had a really early domination, but weren't quite able to hold on.
Yeah, and I'm very interested about this Jungle Queen pick from Vind, but he's actually going to be able to find an early pick onto Panini. So now the side of the Schnabeltier don't have that speed that they could need. Booney can still go in with these engages, but the rest of the team may not be able to commit as fast on the back of it. Zinth is building the barrage fairly fast, already a bit over 1/3 of the way there. It's a question of, will that matter when you're just able to hold on to the point first and get that early presence? Booney's actually going for a big contest here, taking a decent amount of damage, eventually gets forced out here, but gives the Schnabeltier a chance to re-contest as a team.
And you can see now the Zillas have getting that early control once again. The Schnabeltier are looking for a counterattack. Panini is going to be the one to go down. Neptune follows, and this is going to be a beautiful first fight for the Zillas once again. Booney is just going to slam himself right in there. Doesn't quite find anything, but the rest of the Zillas hold on, and the percentage continues to climb. They're off to a really good start after this first fight.
Yeah, the one thing about the side of the Zillas, they have such a aggressive backline with Milo and Withering, two players who are on the same SR but are very good compliments to each other. Met, though, getting into a bit of trouble, has to recall back out of the position as the side of the Schnabeltier are going for this push through right room.
And immediately we've got Spartanica going down the beautiful immortality field from Milo to keep the rest of the teammates alive. Booney is going to be going down, followed shortly by Panini. The Pulse Bomb is available. Farah pops the ultimate, taking down Milo. Vind is down, which will make it where the Junker Queen ultimate is not available. Witherin is taking a lot of damage, does go down, and the Schnabeltier do take a fight that they need, and they're able to start racking up some percentage as well.
And they get some decent staggers. The Mets gonna trade with Neptune there, so the question of is that valuable or not denies the Pulse Bomb for at least a bit longer, and Neptune is gonna be quick back from this point. It looks like the side of the Zillas are gonna go for this right side or left side rotation for them through the white room, forcing the Schnabeltier to mark this out, and Booney needs to get in there and guarantee the contest on the point. A window comes out, Rush as well, beats from the side of the Zillas, and a duplicate. So Neptune's trying to build this one up quick and catches his mark on Spartan. Trade's going both ways though.
Trade's going both ways, but it does look like the Schnabeltier are holding on just a little bit stronger as 3 members of the Zillas go down. Neptune barely manages to stay alive as Vin goes down. Met is somehow staying alive. Never mind, I spoke too soon. Met goes down and the Schnabeltier hold on just a little bit longer to get that lead shift that they need.
Yeah, Schnabeltier's mid-fighting is just so good because it's so hard for the side of the Zillas really collapsed on it, and this is the swap I was sort of expecting to see on this map. Vin going over to the Diva gives him a real chance to mark. Oh my god, what is that, Boop? Gets Milo off the map. Witherin would have fallen too if he didn't have that wall ride ability, and now he's in deep trouble as Vin and Witherin for the Zillas as well as Met trying to get out of this situation.
And this is definitely not what you want to have happen if you are the Zillas. 85% to go for, or 85% tally for the Schnabeltier. Vin manages to stay up as him and the Ball are fighting all over the place. The Diva will get dismounted. The sound barrier does get dropped. And it does look like Booney is going to be the one to fall. Zillas might actually have an opportunity here, but they got to get on the point as overtime is ticking away. And Met still has the Pulse Bomb, isn't quite able to find it yet, drops it down on the point, does manage to find one. The rest of the fight continues to go, and the Zillas are holding on. This is a 3-for-3 trade. No team seems to be able to get this one up. As one member goes down, another one follows. Met is the one to hold the line. He continues to keep fighting as a Tracer. Now Vin is back in the fight, and this one does not seem to stop. The Booney will go on the chase, but the Zillas are able to start locking down time again, but the rest of the Schnabeltiers are coming in to answer back.
The point is going to flip to the side of the Zillas, but with Booney going down, I don't even know if the Schnabeltier can get a recontest here. With the timing of these picks, it may only leave an opening for one more fight with the side of the Schnabeltier. They just have to make sure that they don't go down, because if we're entering last fight territory and you have a bomb from Vin coming up, potentially a pulse and support ults, the ult advantage is shifting heavily in the favor of the Zillas for this final fight and could give them the equalizer on control.
The equalizer is definitely what they're going to need. 80% is tallied, so this is going to be very, very close, but the Schnabeltier are in and ready to begin. As we can see a lot of healing coming out from the side of Ninja Drew, and the rest of the fight gets crazy. Diva is going to be going in with the charge. Booney is going to be trying to get some damage. It's tank versus tank. The Kitsune Rush gets popped. The sound barrier is down as well. Met goes down before the Pulse Bomb becomes effective. Milo is going to be dropping on the side of the Zillas. Booney goes down on the side of the Schnabeltier. Trades once again happening all over the place. Still 2 ultimates available on the side of the Zillas with none available on the side of the Schnabeltier. The Doomfist is going to be coming out. The time is going to go to overtime in favor of the Zillas. They just have to hold on for just a little bit longer. Booney is going to be jumping into the Doomfist. Does not quite find it. Zips goes down as well, and that's going to be the round going over to the Tokyo Zillas.
Yeah, I love those adaptations from the Tokyo Zillas. I mean, you could see Vind and Spartan really struggling for, I guess, what roles they wanted to go on to, but going on to the Diva just to mark the double flyer and then putting Spartan on something that he's a bit more comfortable with, like the May, gave him so much value in the denial of Booney. So these adaptations that the Zillas were able to make mid-fight are what's really going to sort of put them into a 1-1 score. But we have a calm switch from both sides. Neptune going over onto the Mei and Zinth on the Cassidy. It's going to be a straight-up brawl to decide this, which both teams haven't seen from each other yet.
This is something I'm very excited for. I love seeing teams just come out and absolutely duke it out with each other. I love me a nice scrappy game of Overwatch, and it looks like this is what we're going to be getting right away, as there's going to be so much damage coming out right away on this first fight. And this is going to be Vind doing a lot of damage on that Sigma. And we've got also, well, it looks like things are going to kind of even out now. Looks like we're kind of slowing down to a bit of a poke fest. Kind of got a little bit too excited there. Thought maybe things were going to get scrappy right away. But, well, actually, I say that and there's, wow, I can't even say their name now. But the platypus in German, they're going in.
Yeah, Schnabeltier definitely looking for early picks, and Neptune's going to be the one to find it onto Met. It's going to be great advantage for them, but the point's still not in their favor, so they need to fight for it. Booney's going to push the aggression. Spartan with a good wall to sort of slow down the pace, slow down the tempo. And Spartan's actually looking very, very close to their ultimate, maybe even putting in a bit of a Mei diff onto Neptune. Witherin finds a pick, and so does Finn, so now at least the eliminations are shifting in the favor of the Zillas, and they're going to get a point flip like nothing ever happened.
And that team kill just came instantaneously. I mean, these players just came out, threw out everything they had, didn't even need to blow an ultimate. And now as they get ready to hold this point, they've got 3 ultimates in their pocket, with the next closest one on the side of the Schnabeltier being Neptune on the Mei, who already has taken a lot of damage to start out. But we're going to be seeing some even ultimates coming up here. Panini's got the sound barrier. The Kitsune Rush is available. The Mei wall comes out. And this is going to be a lot of damage coming out at once. The Blizzard is going to be the first thing to go on both sides. Doesn't quite find anything. Pulse Bomb is available. And the Matrix window is available on the side of the Zillas. A lot more damage coming out. Time is still ticking in favor of the Zillas. They only had to burn 2 ultimates here. And at the same time, Zinth and Ninja Drew have their ultimates available as well. 3 ultimates on the side of 2. A lot of damage is going to come through. The Sigma is going to be popping. The alt Ninja Drew goes down as the Kitsune Rush goes out. High Noon pops, and it does not find any kills. Once again, the Schnabeltier are falling apart as a very strong sound barrier comes in to keep them alive, and the Zillas with another team wipe.
Yeah, and just thinking about how the Zillas played that entire fight, it felt like they were so much more disciplined. I mean, they forced Neptune over onto the Widow even for a second just for that opening pick, but the brawl on their side, so good. Exchanging the Blizzards early. They actually got the beat out mid-Blizzard, and it doesn't do much of anything because you just burn the beat target, and eventually they just win the long game fight. So now they just need to win one more fight with the side of the Schnabeltier. They need to make some heroics happen. Luckily, Booney has this Annihilation, but Panini's found already. He's going to pop the Annihilation. But the Zillas, they're so willing to just give this up. They're willing to retreat and take this fight back in about 5 seconds while Panini's still on respawn.
I think this is a good move from the side of the Zillas. They don't want to overcommit, don't want to waste a bunch of resources, but at the same time, they're just going to find Booney alone and defending his own territory, and they're going to do a lot of damage, but Milo is actually going to be the one to fall as the Matrix window does get popped. Met trying to do a lot on that Tracer, does find Zinth. Witherin does fall on the side of the Zillas, and things are going to continue to be even again, but the Pulse Bomb is available for Met to pull out again. He barely escaped with his life, but Neptune is going to be on the chase, and the Pulse Bomb will not find anything yet.
And Spartans kind of left to their own devices. Milo gets a nice pick onto Neptune, and I feel like the more that the side of the Schnabeltier are focusing away from this brawl style composition, the more sort of elements to their game that they can provide. Neptune now able to mark Met on the Tracer here, giving them another option for what to do. The Kitsune Rush is going to come out from Ninja Drew, and the Schnabeltier trying to collapse inwards here. The style from the side of the Zillas is just so disciplined. They're so conditioned to not take those fights where they're at the disadvantage, and they're so ready to push back in. The Blizzard's gonna come in from Spartan. There's no real counter for that. The Beat's gonna come in, but it's not gonna be able to save. Milo with a nice Suzu though to keep Zinth up, keeping this an even fight. Booney's gonna be the first one to get the trade. Zinth, High Noon, Booney, Annihilation. Vin's trying to keep the team alive, trying to trade it back, but he's the last one. He actually does manage to find 2 though. That could be the picks they need, but now it's just Met. Solo,
Wow.
last one to touch here. Can he make it back to the point? Recall's already been forced, gets one more touch in, but Neptune gets a good mark on him, manages to take them out. Now Witherin's back, hits the beat. That could be what the team needs, but it's a 5-man brawl on the point. Make that 4 for the Schnabeltier. Trade's going either way, but the Schnabeltier now cleaning it up.
The Schnabeltier are finding the kills that they need. The Zillas can't find their way in. Vin not able to get in on that Doomfist, and that's gonna be, oh no, they managed to jump on the point, keep it alive just slightly longer, but not quite long enough. The Schnabeltier come out with a map 1 victory.
Yeah, a bit of an unexpected map 1. I know a lot of people, the PRs, productions, and I know me and you were definitely favoring the Zillas here. The Schnabeltier showing up with just a classical flyer comp and then managing to win out the brawl, something I definitely didn't expect. So I think we're going to have a very banger series on our hands between both these teams.
Absolutely. Between this, we are going to be seeing some incredible maps between both of these teams. I mean, honestly, so many teams, so many players were just showing up exactly where they needed to. The player that I think I want to highlight the most is Booney on the side of the Schnabeltier. He was able to just hold the line so well that even from on the opposite side of the Zillas, Met, who was just being an absolute thorn in the side, was just not quite able to do anything because Booney was managing to do all the right things as a tank to keep his team alive.
For sure. Booney definitely leading the team, leading the charge there on Li Jiang. And now we're going to have to see what the map and swaps are for the side of the Tokyo Zillas. Remember, there is a format change, so if you're Aurora regular here, listen up, because we do have a bit of a change. Usually we just go right onto the hybrid map, but now we're adopting the EWC ideology of you can now choose any map. There is a map pool for each week, so there are certain escort maps you can play and certain escort maps you can't play. Same thing for hybrid, but the Zillas can choose really whatever style of map they want to go to here.
That's very interesting. I'm excited to kind of see what these teams are going, what maps we're going to be seeing by these teams. There's a lot of great opportunities here, and also to be seeing these players come in and swap in and out. And, you know, that's one of the things that I really like about Overwatch as a format for an esport is you see a lot of the teams being able to make swaps based on game modes and just based on what's happening. They make the swaps that they need to, and they're able to make the right adaptations mid-series, which I feel like is something you don't really see a lot in other esports. They kind of just have their roster and they stick with it. They don't have any subs, nothing that they think about. And so I'm really excited to kind of see how these teams are going to be ready to shake things up going into map number 2.
Yeah, and especially with new players coming in, we're gonna have Zainu Baba. Yeah, map 2 is gonna be announced and it's gonna be Midtown, and that's gonna be the choice of the Tokyo Zillas. The side of the Tokyo Zillas are gonna sub in Ruben actually onto the DPS and get Voyager on the Ruben on the support and Voyager on the DPS. Well, the Schnabeltier are going to be putting Panini on the DPS and swapping over Neptune onto support. So Neptune's debut support, he is the Contender's main support player, but I think we're going to be seeing a bit more flex support gameplay from him today.
I love that. Love seeing players shake things up, do things different than what you're used to seeing. And obviously, Neptune, if you wouldn't be popping into a role like that if you didn't feel comfortable enough to bring it out into a season opener. So I'm excited to see where Neptune is going to be popping this one out. Now, on the other side of the Tokyo Zillas, we have Voyager and Ruben Lagunes are going to be popping in as well. What do we know about these players? What kind of roles are we going to be? I think Voyager is going to be popping in on the DPS side, and Ruben Lagunes is going to be one of the supports, if I'm correct.
So both these players actually signed up for DPS this season. Ruben is Milo's really good friend, Milo being the team captain of the Zillas, so definitely willing to flex around a bit this season. And Voyager was a highly coveted support, I believe, from BPL. So, or is it highly coveted DPS pick. I know that the I think it was Skycer's team or Sonic's team was definitely looking at picking them up, but managed to fall to the Zillas, which I think was an amazing pickup that really complements the DPS line of like Spartan, Ruben, and Voyager just being like a three-prong switch on either side for this team.
Okay, that's really interesting. I'm excited to kind of see. See, I wasn't around for the draft, so I didn't get to see a lot of the draft drama that I know that can sometimes emerge from this league. So I'm excited to see how these are going to be shaking up, especially as we get loaded here into map number 2 on Midtown. And then on the side of the Schnabeltier, we have Scorpio is going to be stepping in as well on the DPS side. What do we know about him as a player?
Actually, Scorpio's not here today, so Panini's going to be
Okay.
the ringer for Scorpio. But me, Scorpio, and Panini all played DPS for a team known as the Shrimpleton back in the day, and I will say all three very very solid DPS. I mean, me personally, I'm not a good DPS, but those two definitely carried me in our DPS games together. So I'm very excited to see. That was a like plat through diamond team, but this is going to be a little bit higher than that in average SR. So Panini, we'll see what he's going to do to attempt to match DPS like Met and Voyager, who are a bit above his SR. And there's somebody like Met, who was the front runner for potential Rookie of the Year candidate last season, very prolific on the Tracer and the Sojourn.
I love to see that. And now we are going to be getting into it. The map begins. We've got the Zillas on the defense, and or no, I might be wrong. The Schnabeltier, I think, are on the Schnabeltier are on the attack, and they are going to be immediately diving in. Panini on that Soldier 76, getting a lot of early damage, but Ruben can hit their shots. Holy cow!
Yeah, the setup from the side of the Zillas was looking so good. Booney tries to aggress forward, but gets instantly met with 5 lines of damage. That's the thing that's so dangerous about playing the Zillas on this map, is they have shooters on like all sides of the board. All 5 of these players are leaning towards like I'd say DPS players and very very comfortable on DPS. Vin probably one of the best tanks, if not the best tank in the entire league, so it's such a hard composition to just face check. I know my team scrimmed against this team on Midtown actually, and it's just so difficult because you want to walk on the team. You want to get Booney in. You want to get Zenu, Baba, and Neptune in to be those heavy hitters close range. But if you have a composition that can just spam you down over these long angles, even with the amp speed, you still have a bit of distance to go if you want to do some big damage.
Absolutely, and looking here now, the fight breaks out again. Booney trying to get in with that Reinhardt. They see the opportunity on the point. 2.5 minutes to go. They don't quite find it yet. Voyager pops one member of the Schnabeltier down, and Zinth is going to be trading away. So that's 1 DPS for a DPS. Many members of the Schnabeltier are getting low. Booney has to be very, very careful. Zinth is also going to be brought low, but does manage to recall out. Zenu Baba manages to try to keep the teammates alive. Booney does go down, trading for Ruben, but that is going to be multiple members down across the entire team. Currently, right now, it is a 3-for-2 in the favor of the Zillas, but things could turn around as many members of the Zillas are very low. Vin goes down, another 1-for-1 trade, and no progress made on that point.
No progress made, but Vind is such a big pick because the side of the Schnabeltier, they have that amp speed. They can get back to the point first. You can see Booney's already back. Voyager manages to catch the headshot on Neptune, though, so that's going to really open it up. Vin's not going to switch off to touch. He needs to hold on to this ultimate, but so much space on the point already given up. It's going to be a very forced touch here that Met really has to slide down and make, and he's going to actually pay for that with his life, but a huge flux from Vind to open up the fight.
That flux could not have been at a better point in time. 3 members of the Schnabeltier go down. 2 members of the Zillas are down, but this fight will keep the Zillas from having to worry about a payload. 1 minute and 10 seconds left to go. Schnabeltier are going to have to be careful. They don't have any ultimates to work with, as the Sojourn is going to have the railgun, and the BAP is going to have the Matrix window ready to go, as the Schnabeltier are jumping right back in. They're ready to go for this next fight Booney does have the ultimate available. Let's see how he is going to be using this one. He's going to get brought to about half. Manages to keep himself alive. They manage to get the cap on the point. Booney drops the hammer. 2 members of the Zillas go down. Ruben looking to be following closely behind. And the Schnabeltier, by the skin of their teeth, are escorting the payload.
Yeah, and Booney drops the Shatter. I think that was an indication that he wants to swap, and that indeed is the case. Booney is going to go over onto the Winston because it actually provides a lot more backline pressure onto Ruben and Withering, who definitely are shooters on this map. Right now, it's just been Zinth pressuring out the backline and trying to get these trades. He's been doing that so far, but the pace that he's been taking these fights is just so much slower. Now, with the fight breaking out on high ground, been doing a great job of forcing them off, but with Booney being able to dive, it opens up the space for Zinth to just trade out Voyager.
And Zinth is going to start doing the work. The pulse bomb gets dropped, but unfortunately, there's only members of the Schnabeltier are going to be the ones going down. We do have Withering on the side of the Zillas going down. Vind is going to be following closely behind. It's a 2-for-2 fight. The payload will slowly keep moving. Met trying to find an opportunity to get some damage out, but doesn't have anybody to help support him.
Yeah, and this composition for the side of the Zillas is now a bit wonky. I mean, I could say the same for the Schnabeltier's comp. You have some elements of, you know, brawl and long range just poke for the Zillas, but for the side of the Schnabeltier, it's a lot of dive and poke, so it's just a mix to see really what works, what sticks on both sides. Schnabeltier did manage to take high ground and are actually going to engage on this dive. Withering's going to pop the window to try to fend things away, but Zinth's already done a bit of the damage, trading out Voyager. Met, though, with 2 big trades, big picks. Neptune's going to get the nano through onto Panini, but is that going to be enough to fend off this team?
This is looking to be very, very scary for the Zillas. They're not quite able to hold, even though they've got 3 ultimates available. The Schnabeltier are managing to keep the payload moving at least a little bit, but the Zillas are starting to finally find a fight back. Panini is going to be the one to go down. Vin is going to pop the ultimate. Voyager pops the ultimate as well. Matt is the only one who's not able to pop the railgun because he died. Withering is going to go down. Zinth is going to get traded away. The Winton ult comes through. So much death through and through, but it looks like the Schnabeltier are not quite able to hold on enough. They finally get the payload moving again, and they take, but Booney goes down, traded away for Met, and by golly, what a scrappy section that was.
Yeah, I gotta give a lot of credit to the Zillas support line there for keeping Zinth up. He was dead to rights, had to pop the Annihilation to even get out, but despite being slept and antied in a dark room with a primal monkey, the kill did not ever come through onto Zinth. He's able to hold on, and he's even able to position himself up onto this high ground. The sleep misses from Neptune, so now Booney and Zinth need to be the heroes in this fight to really save the day.
The Biovita comes through. Neptune trying to keep the team alive. The rest of the teams are trying to do very much to keep them going. The beat has been dropped by Zainu Baba. This could be huge for the... Yep, I immediately blanked on their name again. By golly, your name sucks. The Schnabeltier, thank you. And that's going to be another ultimate being popped on the side of the Zillas. This fight is where it's do or die. The Booney and Zinth go down, and the Zillas hold ground. They've got a lot of time to work with here as we get ready for round number 2.
Yeah, and you can see where the practice really comes in. The Zillas have practiced this map. They have played, I think, this exact composition on this map without, like, barring a couple role changes, but definitely the specific players on this map. And they're showing to be very experienced here. Now, it's on the side of the Schnabeltier to really figure out an answer because there was all this long-range pressure. If you ask Zinth and Panini to really match the long-range pressure of the entire team, I don't know if it's going to be possible. So they might want to go for more of a brawl look where they like stabilize on point, or just keep Zinth on the Tracer and let him cook while you just have the rest of your backline stabilized. But you can see Panini opting to go onto the Torbjorn, Booney onto the Ramatra. It's sort of going to be a very hybrid style to this, trying to deny the presence on major chokeholds, but not really taking long angles against them. Well, the side of the Zillas, they just want to take long angles. It's the exact same strategy as last time. If they can get a fight at range, they're gonna take it.
Definitely, that's been the name of the game for the Zillas, and it's definitely working out. Now we do have a little bit of swapping here. We've got Panini picking up the Torbjorn, and then we've got Zainu Baba picking up the Brig. Now, Zainu Baba did start the last round on the Brig, but it didn't last very long. Let's see if they'll be able to get some better success going into this second round, as now the attack is going to be coming through from the Zillas. We've got a lot of damage coming through from the Sigma on the side of the Zillas. That's going to be Zinth taken out. You can't survive a boulder to the face, and that's going to be a huge pick on the side of the Zillas. They're able to get a lot of damage and keep control of this fight. Zainu Baba gets brought very, very low, but manages to stay alive. Nothing too much happening. Zainu Baba finally goes down, managing to keep themselves long enough alive for Zinth to get back into the fight, but they just get dropped immediately again. Neptune follows, and the Zillas are running away with this fight. Oh my goodness, that was a nice boulder.
Yeah, the thing about the Zillas is they're just able to take a lot of angles. They immediately went for the left side of the point near the market area, and I mean, what can you do against that? You don't have enough of a range comp to mark that. Even Zinth, as a solo tracer in that position, he can't take an entire team that's firing on all cylinders like Voyager is right now. Voyager has been sort of like an unsung hero of and potential like high caliber rookie candidate here, looking very, very good on this Widow right now.
Voyager on that Widow is absolutely disgusting right now. He's been able to find just the absolute craziest of shots, but yet, you know, you don't really notice it too much until you realize, oh, our DPS is dead, and then they have to adapt to it on the side of the Schnabeltier. But this fight is going to break out once again. Met is going to get a lot of damage. Booney is going to get almost absolutely deleted, but manages to stay alive. Shout out to the supports on the Schnabeltier. And Vind looking to get themselves in the fight. The Gravitic Flux is going to come out, drop many members of the Schnabeltier. The Immortality Field comes out, doesn't quite find anything as the window gets popped. Withering is going to be the first one to fall, but the will be trades coming out, and the Zillas are going to run away with this one. That's 3 members of the Schnabeltier dead, and Met is barely alive by the skin of his teeth. And the Zillas run away with this one, but they aren't able to get much progress on the payload, so the Schnabeltier hold on.
Yeah, Booney's still holding down the line. Actually catches Withering. Not going to be able to find a surface to pin into, though, and he's going to pay for it with his life. Zinth tried to do the follow-up on that, but it was a nice immortality field by Withering to keep himself and the rest of the team alive. Now Zinth is just stuck in the back line. Voyager is now going to be forced to mark this, but it's a 1-for-1 on DPS, sort of in the back line, just marking each other, and progress towards the point. The payload's still in a really good position, and if it gets through this underpass, it's going to be really tough for the side of the Schnabeltier to even get this recontest.
And now the recontest is going to try and happen again, but Zainu Baba's going down right away, and that's going to be followed by Met, but Booney is going to be traded away. That's a tank down, and then Zinth goes down as well, and the Zillas are just not stopping. They have so much damage. Their ability to lock down these targets is absolutely unheard of. Voyager finishes off Panini, and the payload is going to keep moving, and Vin takes this as their cue. The Zillas are going to look to put this one away. I don't think the Schnabeltier have time to get on that to get one more fight in.
Booney has a shadow. He can drop in there. Zainu Baba with an early beat. But the discipline again from the side of the Tokyo Zillas. They just keep this high ground. They keep the better positioning. As Zinth goes in, it's just high ground positioning that's going to win out the fight. And now ult's used, positioning given away, and the Schnabeltier just collapsing on the point. One by one they fall, and the Tokyo Zillas are going to take map 2 and equalize the series.
A beautiful map 2 from the Zillas. You can't really say it much better than just they had absolute control over everything going on in that entire game. Then doing so much work on the Sigma Voyager. I mean, him on that Widowmaker was probably one of the craziest things I have ever seen. He was able to just find shot after shot after shot, and it was just this absolutely amazing playmaking from him. And so huge shout outs to the Zillas to be able to take that map number 2. And they got to be feeling really good as they get ready to move into map number 3.
For sure. And I don't know. I think something about this approach, I mean, it just felt a little bit off. I wish that Schnabeltier had a bit of time to scrim this beforehand. I know they do have a ringer in Panini, so it's not their like official team this time, and it is their first game, but their comp just felt so disorientated and wonky at all times. Like when the Zillas did it, it was to like match. Like Vind would go onto the Ram to match Booney on the Rhine or match Booney on the Ram and guarantee that his backline doesn't get dove and he has a bit more sustain for himself. But on the side of the Schnabeltier, it's just can they get a pick? If not, then fight lost. And that's a really hard thing to go off of. Other thing that's tough for them is when you have Met and Voyager firing on our cylinders, usually you'd have, Neptune come in and diff that, but Neptune is on the support, obviously keeping the team alive, but if I don't know, like if you can't diff those DPS, if a Widow's just headshotting you over and over and over again, and you don't have something that can negate that as a team on the DPS role, it's a lot tougher to stay alive.
It definitely, yes, it is a lot tougher to stay alive for sure. But they managed to keep themselves. Well, the Zillas managed to find the ground that they need to and get themselves set up for map number 3, I believe. With that, we are going to be taking a quick little break as we get ready for map number 3, if I'm correct.
Yeah, all right. We will send it to a quick break. We will be right back with map number 3, which will be Saravasa. But see you in a bit. And welcome back, everybody, to Aurora Esports. We have the season opener between the Tokyo Zillas and the Stutter Schnabeltier. And so far, it has not disappointed. It is 1-1 so far in the series. The Schnabeltier are going to be sending us to Saravasa as the third map. So even though these teams have the option to not follow the map rotation that was forced last season, they're just following the map rotation anyways. I think they're cheap, me personally.
That is really funny. I'm excited to see these teams clash it out on Saravasa to be able to Well, Servasa, it's honestly probably my favorite Flashpoint map. It's so beautiful, and I love just everything that you can do on that map. So as we go into this, there weren't any changes that I think I remember seeing from either team getting ready for Flashpoint. So we are getting ready to show off what these teams can do. We've had Zillas coming out of a very, very dominant performance in map number 2, and I'd love to be able to continue to see that same level of dominance, but at the same time, the Schnabeltier do have an opportunity to maybe shake some things up, because they've already shown that they can play a solid game of Overwatch. So we just have to see kind of how these teams do play this out.
I think the one small change, no changes for the Zilla, but the one small change is Neptune's going to be going over to the DPS, and Ninja Drew is going to be on the support. So this is the same composition style that they ran on map 1 with the double fires. Obviously, Neptune going to Symmetra for the TP out, but they're trying to take angles around the point. This may not pan out on the first point, but it's definitely a lot better for the second, third, fourth, and fifth point. First point is very congested. There's not really much space to fly up, and there's, I guess, high ground's around the point, but limited space that they can actually control, especially when you have Voyager on the Sojourn that can just slide up and instant contest it. But if they, once they get their ultimates and they, are able to get to these next points, they can do some serious damage. And if they're able to win this point, that's going to be massive for them in turning the fight.
This is going to be a point that we're definitely going to want to keep a huge eye on. You can see Neptune taking advantage of the high ground, finding the cover where they can. But you do see the rest of the Zillas trying to find their way in there as well. Early control looking to be in favor of the Zillas, but Booney is going to have something to say about it, as he's going to be jumping right into the face of the enemy, trying to get a lot of damage onto that Junker Queen. Voyager is going to be the first one to fall, and this is going to look great for the Schnabeltier starting off, but the rest of the Zillas are coming in. Ruben Lagunes goes down, and this is a good fight for the Schnabeltier. A 3-for-0 trade, and they're going to get early control.
Yeah, the Schnabeltier, they extended that fight for a while, and that's some of the things that I saw the Tokyo Zillas doing on map 1 that the Schnabeltier weren't doing. They weren't extending these fights and playing for sort of long periods of time, and that's where their composition dominates. You can see Neptune and Zinth both already 80% to their ultimates right now. They could be getting their ultimates on this first point, making me eat my words sort of about how this point isn't that fire dominated. But the fight breaking out on point now that Vind is over onto the Winston to try and maybe deny the flyers a bit more, but I'm not really sure how that's going to pan out. He does find Panini, though.
That kill on a Panini could be huge. Vind is going to get traded away, though, but that's going to be multiple members of the Schnabeltier going to go down. Maybe the Voyagers found what they needed, but Voyager goes down, Ruben goes down, and it does look like the Schnabeltier managed to hold on as a takedown met, and just when I thought things weren't getting too crazy, when things weren't getting decided, the Schnabeltier decide to fight back, and with that, I think they're going to be taking pretty strong control over this first point.
Yeah, Voyager forced to swap over onto a bit more of a marking hit scan. That actually happened halfway through that point, but because he's a bit of the way to his high noon right now. But they're trying to mark out this team. They're actually trying to take a fight a bit early here. Neptune and Zinth forced to peel back. They tried to rotate early, but the fight is happening on first point. This isn't the point anymore, so it's just who's gonna get the trades and who's gonna be able to cap the second point based off of the first point geometry.
Yeah, and it looks like the Zillas are going to take early control here. They're getting a lot of kills as Voyager gets himself a triple kill, and they're going to have to start making moves over to the point, because now that they've got the numbers advantage, they just got to get on the point.
But the interesting thing about that is Panini and Zinth both managing to get out of that fight or die early, so they did get a bit of stall out onto that point, ensuring a bit later cap for the Zillas. I gotta talk about it though. 5 ults on the side of the Zillas. They've been holding on to these for a bit of time here, or just happen to all build them up at the same time. But either way, they want to definitely use 1 or 2 of these, get a good ult rotation going on the point. That's gonna start with the high noon and the Kitsune rush popped early, and used to find a couple kills. A beat used as well to counter out Booty's annihilation, and picks definitely falling in favor of the Zillas.
The Zillas find a lot of major opportunities to be able to get control. They're getting a lot of damage, and they definitely are going to hold on to this point. While the Schnabeltier were able to get point number 1, this point number 2 is looking to be pretty well in favor of the Zillas. Maybe the Schnabeltier, they might have one more stronger opportunity to get in there. They do have 2 ultimates available. It is 2 ultimates on both sides. Neptune does have the opportunity to build up their ult before this fight comes out. Farah is going to be popping the ultimate, and that's 3 members of the Zillas down. And just like that, the Schnabeltier are finding the answers that they need. The Zillas haven't even had an opportunity to pop any of their ultimates as their entire team goes down. And before the Zillas can lock this point, the Schnabeltier take over.
I love that approach from the Schnabeltier. They're like, oh, we're having a bit of trouble with Voyager. He's kind of marking us a bit better, you know? The supports are doing a good job of keeping themselves up. Let's just run them over, you know? Just like amp on the point and just send everything at Voyager and the support line. Ensure that they can't have anything happen. But another fight's already breaking out here. Vin's popping the Primal Rage early and manages to find 2. The DPS for the Schnabeltier, or the supports for the Schnabeltier, are down.
And just like that, the Zillas come right back into it. They find 4 out of the 5 kills, and they are going to be taking this second point, and they're going to tie up this flashpoint round. Beautiful ultimate there from Vin to be able to put the Schnabeltier in their place.
Yeah, I'm thinking about this map now, and I'm wondering, like, would New Junk City been a better choice if they wanted to run double flyer? I'm not exactly sure. I mean, if they win, I guess we have a chance to interview one, see what happened, see like what the thought process was here. But it seems like the double flyer is now sort of getting stifled by Vind being able to create a lot of space with this bubble, and it's just Voyager staying on the back line. But Neptune's gonna dupe out the Winston here. And the Zillas are going to do the classic, let's run away for a second, wait for the ultimate to go away, and then fight back in 10 seconds later.
And the Schnabeltier take early control. Voyager has the high noon available. Neptune, nothing to be seen quite yet from the ultimate. The rest of the team getting ready to gear themselves up for another fight. They have some time to kind of plan this one out and think about how they want to go. They're going to play off the high noon. The high noon pops out, does not find anything, but that's going to be more damage coming through. These Zillas are going to jump right in. Booney is going to go down. No more Schnabeltier are near the point, and the Zillas are going to take over, but they're not stopping there. They're going to make sure that the Schnabeltier are sent home packing as Ninja Drew 10 goes down.
I think Booney may have overcooked a bit with that one. Tried to stay on point through the high noon and actually got the shield to block it off, but the issue was his entire team had already abandoned the point and they didn't have a quick enough response to that ultimate and that positioning, so Booney just got absolutely stifled on the point. Now Neptune, though, making the swap over onto Reaper, realizing that, hey, this Vin guy, you know, he's starting to be a bit of a problem, so let's do our best to shoot him away from us.
And the counter Kitsunes come out. That's 2 Kitsune rushes to bring out this next fight. The Schnabeltier were looking to get into the point. They're not quite able to find it just yet, but Met is going to go down as Panini is going to drop the beat. And that will give Schnabeltier the push that they needed. They have the control. They just have to continue to win this one out. Synth is going to be dropping Voyager with the Farah ult. Vind and Met both have ultimates available, but they don't quite find anything. Booney is going to be popping the Annihilation, getting a lot of damage. Vind with the counter monkey ult. And let's see who wins this out. The scary ghost or the giant monkey. And Vind is going to be the one to fall. The Schnabeltier managed to not only hold on, but take the lead in this point. Neptune pops the Reaper ultimate. Doesn't find any kills for it, but it does not matter because the Schnabeltier locked this one down.
And there was some very solid adaptations for the side of the Schnabeltier, really forcing Neptune to go onto the Reaper. But that's the thing, if you have Neptune on the DPS, I know I was talking to him a bit and he said like, oh yeah, I'm gonna be more adamant about playing my roles, the roles that I like, but he's definitely somebody who's able to flex around, and you already see it with a rotation back to spawn just to put Neptune onto the Tracer now, because it's just a bit more favorable matchup into this D.Va.
It definitely is a much more favorable matchup for the Schnabeltier, and the more that they can win out these favorable matchups, the better they will be, especially against an opponent like the Zillas. The Zillas are getting ready to set themselves up as this next point is going to be unlocking. The Zillas are going to be putting themselves in a good position to start out, but the high ground is going to be coming out in favor of the Schnabeltier. Met is going to take a lot of damage, keeping himself alive, has the pulse bomb available, and I'd love to be able to see that pulse bomb show up somewhere. There it is. Panini goes down, but gets traded away. Met is going to go down. Neptune goes down as well, and that's going to be DPSs for supports all over the place. But this fight is going to go very quickly in favor of the Zillas, as the rest of the team will fall, and the Zillas hold on.
Yeah, the Zillas with some very good staller on the point. I love the rotations they did, sending their tank back through their main while sending 3 members of their team, I believe it was Voyager and the 2 supports, back towards their left side of point, forcing the Schnabeltier to really take a fight on 2 different angles. One that was definitely not favorable for them. And speaking of favor, ults are in favor with the explosive approach for the Schnabeltier. It works out again. They jump onto point, they get the early damage, and they just clean up instantly.
They went in guns blazing. They finish up the cleanup, and in overtime, they will pick up this point. They only need to win. They only need this last point in order to close this one out, correct?
Yes, they do.
Okay.
Only last point.
Okay, that's what I thought. So I just need to close this one out, in the Zillas, they're going to need to get that a little bit of extra time, so that way they don't have to worry about being a map down going into map number 4. And now the Schnabeltier, they're going to keep racking up that percentage. They just have to hold. They have 4 ultimates available, and it's 3 ultimates on the side of the Zillas. So the question becomes, who is going to use their ultimates better? Zinth is going to go for it first. Down goes Voyager and Ruben. Down goes Witherin, and the Schnabeltier, they're finding the kills. Zinth just goes off and takes down everybody. The Schnabeltier, they're looking to close this one out right here.
I said on the draft desk, I think that Zinth went for criminally low for his SR. The amount of money that he went for is crazy, and now they're trying to push the pace again here with Voyager and Witherin responding with counter ults here. All this drops for the Schnabeltier. Is it going to be enough to really take this fight, take this point? I think it is. Vind is the last one surviving on the point and has the bomb to stabilize this, and will be able to get the remake if he positions himself right. Yes, he does. And Neptune goes down. That's the pick you need in this situation, but he doesn't touch the point. No!
He gets the bomb, he gets the redeploy, doesn't quite get back on the point fast enough, and the Schnabeltier win map number 3.
The Schnabeltier looked very, very good. Once their counter swaps went in on that 2nd and 3rd point, felt like they were only getting better and better, only picking up pace more and more. And this guy right here was actually absolutely explosive. You saw his excitement in the chat there.
What an absolutely crazy game, and what a great series to start off this season. That map could have gone either way, but the Schnabeltier find what they need in order to keep themselves, in order to win that map. While it was maybe looking like the Zillas might have had opportunities there, unfortunately, though, it was very much in favor of the Schnabeltier going into that final point, and they managed to prove us wrong and show that Flyers can do well for that one.
Yeah, and Flyers definitely were looking good on that map, and now it's going to be the choice of the Zillas of what map type they're going to go to, and also what map they're going to select. And looks like they're going to be leaning towards Shambali Monastery here. Another map where they can take these long-range hit-scan duels, but it also, you can also play close range in this. Vin could get a lot of value on this Ramatra Swamp.
I'm definitely excited to see how these players are going to turn this one around. And let's see how the Zillas, the ones that we were expecting to be winning this one, they're now going to be putting on their back foot. If they want to obviously take the series, they need to win 2 more maps. And so this is going to be something that if the Zillas are going to be picking this one, hopefully they're going to be able to find the opportunities that they need in order to win this one out. We do see on the side of the Zillas, Milo is going to be coming back in, and Spartan will be coming back in on the side of the Zillas over Ruben and Voyager. So let's see how these two players, hopefully they're going to be able to shake things up going into this map. Now, I know that we saw at least Milo in map number 1, but I'm excited to kind of see where these teams are, how these teams are going to be coming together going into map number 4 as we get ready for that. You know, again, I talked about it before. It's really cool to see these swaps, and hopefully the swap is kind of the reset that the Zillas need in order to help to push this game into a map number 5.
For sure. And I'm interested to see the Schnabeltier. They could put in Zeno Baba here, but I think SR wise, if Zeno Baba goes in, I believe that Neptune has to move on to the support. Don't quote me on that. I'm not actually actually no, that's just not true. Zeno Baba can go in, but it's going to be 2 main supports. That's why they're more wary towards doing that composition. So both teams definitely have a lot of comp consideration to go through here. I am really impressed though about how Booney is just doing a great job of matching the tank of Vind. He's really not like doing anything special. He's just doing the fundamentals really well. And I'm also going to give a shout to Ninja Drew as well, too. Somebody who is, you know, decently low SR comparatively to the rest of his team, but also still putting on a performance against, in my opinion, what is one of the best support lines in the league. He's came in and won both maps that he's been put on. So we'll have to see if the swaps come through. And it is going to be Zainu Baba on support. They're going to keep the Neptune Zinth DPS line, which has kind of been rolling when it's in, and the one map they swapped off of it, it looked a bit funny, but we'll have to see if that can really pan out against the map choice of the Tokyo Zillas.
I think this definitely is going to work out very well for them. We've already been seeing Zinth just doing some absolute work on that Pharah, and I'd love to be able to see that show up even more as we get loaded into Shambali Monastery here. I want to see some love in the chat. You know, chat room, you guys have been a little quiet today. I want to see the hype. This has been a great season opener, and y'all are keeping very, very quiet about this. So come on, let's show some hype. Show which team you're wanting to see do well here, and let's see which team you're rooting for as we get ready to go on to this next map.
Yeah, and the composition for the Tokyo Zillas, I really like this style for them. I'm worried about a potential Zinth Pharah here. I think that would be very detrimental to what the Tokyo Zillas are trying to do, considering they got Milo on the Moira potentially. If Milo goes over to the Pap, I think it would be a bit better, or if Met wants to take the duel on Cassidy. I know he's such a good Sojourn, but I think that Cass just has a bit better, you know, chance of marking a Pharah. But for the side of the Schnabeltier, the aggressive offensive composition for them is going to be Panini on the BAP. Sort of a throwback to, I think, Season 3 of Aurora Esports, where he was playing a lot of the Baptiste on one of his teams. And you got Neptune starting on the Widow, but potentially making that swap over to the Echo here.
And now we can see the points already moving. The Schnabeltier are getting the work in. They're trying to immediately get a lot of early progress onto this payload, which is good for them, but at the same time, the Zillas are here holding this corner. They're getting a lot of damage off, but nobody goes down quite yet. Booney is going to take a lot of damage, but does stay alive, but the Schnabeltier are going to be forced to back away, and these Zillas are going to get the payload moving in the opposite direction.
Yeah, the Zillas have really nice, like, coordination on this. Some teams just let this payload cross the corner for 3 free, but the Zillas definitely not willing to do that. They're taking the dives off cooldown, and even though the corner has passed, they've gotten multiple fights in this time. Great for the stall, as Vind does get collapsed on, does get taken down. Spartan now in a very awkward position. From the moment that they leave block, they're just going to get absolutely suffocated. And the rest of the Tokyo Zillas need to retreat if they want a third fight.
And the Schnabeltier, I mean, they find a great amount of progress here. They find a great fight, get a lot of damage off, and they manage to convert exactly where they need to, find the right picks, and now they're getting close to that first checkpoint. But the Zillas, they're going to jump right in, hopefully to find something. Matt's going to fall right away, which is going to be very, very difficult for the Zillas to deal with. Withering is going to be going down to the Schnabeltier. They're going to be getting checkpoint number 1 with very relative ease. Milo goes down on that Moira. Spartan is going to go down on the Mei. Vin goes down. And just like that, the Schnabeltier, they cross checkpoint number 1, and they're going to keep that payload moving.
Yeah, they're looking very good, and I'm wondering at any point in time, are any of these swaps gonna come through? I would love to see Vin go over onto the Diva. I know it didn't pan out on the first map, but it just felt so much better to mark the double hit scan. Same with Met and Spartan. I mean, and Milo. Like, you just have nothing to mark these fires, and Zinth has his ult. Neptune already popped his ult last fight to help them win, and you only have support ults on your side. But it doesn't matter when Panini's just using this window first, giving them so much space. Second point on Shambali, usually so hard to hold, but right now it's just seeming like clockwork because of when the Saggers came in and the way that the Schnabeltier are pushing this point.
And they just find all the progress. I mean, they just don't seem to be able to stop. The beat drops, the annihilation comes through, the railgun gets absolutely shut down, and the Schnabeltier find everything that they need to. The Zillas are destroyed. Team wipe for the Schnabeltier. Checkpoint number 2 is reached, and the Schnabeltier, they're looking to put this series down.
And that 5-minute time bank, that just does not look good. Like, if you're a Zillas fan, you're going into the third point, and I know third point on most maps is going to be the hardest one to hold. You got a lot of close spawns that you can play off of, but still 5 minutes. You can rotate like 3 full ult cycles for your entire team in that time, and it still doesn't feel like there's a solution from the Tokyo Zillas. They haven't given an answer to this composition. They're just going characters that they're individually comfortable with and hoping for the best. I mean, Milo finally switching over to the Baptiste. He's going to be able to do a bit more, but I was more hoping for a DPS.
And now we've got the Blizzard coming out from Spartan. This could be what the Zillas need, but a beautiful immortality field from Panini to keep the team alive. Panini does go down, Zane goes down, Booney goes down, and the Zillas might actually find a fight that they need. They're able to start getting some kills out, and that is going to be a great fight for the Zillas. Definitely give them a little bit more breathing room, which is something that they desperately needed after the onslaught of the first 2/3 of this match.
Yeah, and Neptune is just already going to be making the swap over. He's going to be going onto the Ashe. It's so deadly. It's going to punish Vin because Vin doesn't really have anything to deny the Ashe bullets. Already forced out the immortality field, but it just explodes. And he's forced to use the ult. It's actually going to bleed through a bit on the wall. Do a ton of damage, getting players very, very weak. Booney's surviving on a sliver of HP on the back, but Withering's eventually going to find that, but still an even fight on both sides.
Booney survived for so long, but the fight just keeps going. The Schnabeltier find the advantage that they need. Spartan is getting very, very low, is trying to poke where they can, but they just don't have the health to be able to hold on for too long. Milo does have the window available for the rest of the team if needed. Zinth does have the ultimate available as well. So that Pharah ultimate, which has been Zinth's absolute bread and butter for this entire series, is definitely something that they're going to have to be careful for. The window is going to get dropped on the side of the Zillas, and it's not going to be long before I expect that Pharaoh ultimate to come out as well. There it goes. The beat gets dropped on both sides. The railgun is going to come out of the side of the Zillas. Bob is coming out on the side of the Schnabeltier. Zinth pops the ultimate, and that's going to be multiple members of the Zillas down, and the Schnabeltier escort that payload in a very, very dominant fashion.
Yeah, 2-minute 30 time bank with basically every stat in their favor. The Schnabeltier looked so good on this map. I think that's the power when you're putting Zinth and Neptune on the roles that they're specialized on, they're really comfortable on in this league. You can just do so much damage to the rest of the side of the Zillas. So the Zillas, I'm still waiting for that solution. I haven't seen it just yet. Like, I mean, Vin's gone Junker Queen, Vin's gone Sig, but I just don't think that is what they need at this moment. I would love to see some more major adaptations here on the attack, and what scares me here is nobody's locked in. They don't know what to do. Milo's saying BAP, but I don't know. I just don't want this to be the end for the Zillas here. They look so good on the first 3 maps, and here it's just all falling apart.
The Zillas are definitely going to need to take a look at this match, and if they do a lot of VOD reviewing, this is definitely the match to do the VOD reviewing on. There are a lot of things that they're going to have to look over, especially this map, this fourth map. They really got to be careful because they just seem to have some sort of a plan going into the first few maps, but I don't think they anticipated the match going to be this deep, because now they're in a situation where they're not quite sure what, it seems like they're not really quite sure what they're going to be doing, and hopefully the Zillas can take a look at this match, figure out those areas where they need to plug those holes, and come back even stronger in their second week.
Yeah, but it still is not over yet. They still have an opportunity, a chance here. They've gotten the payload pushed fairly far. This junk Pharah comp is gonna do a lot of damage over time. So Spartan really needs to make space with the Pharah, and Met really just has to do his best to mark Zinth, but right now Zinth is the first one to light up the kill feed here, and he's just getting more and more aggressive here as they manage to collapse in on Vind and Milo, absolutely suffocating them on those tight angles. The junk can do so much damage on Chimbali just because of the geometry of the map. I mean, everything is just bouncing, and the moment it bounces, it just hits like the player every single time. So they're just looking so good, so oppressive.
And the Schnabeltier, they find just these crazy fights. They find exactly what they needed to just get off a great start. They're holding this corner. You know, like we were talking about in the first round, the Zillas weren't afraid to hold the corner, and the Schnabeltier, they're not afraid to fight on it either. They're going to make sure that the Zillas are going to work for it to get every single checkpoint. Vind is going to be taking down Neptune. That kill is going to be a big one because that's going to give the Zillas an opportunity to maybe get a little bit more aggressive. You can see Met sliding in there on the side. Milo is going to be the one to fall on the side of the Zillas. Neptune not quite able to get back in there fast enough, but he does swap over to the Tracer. Zainu Baba goes down. Witherin goes down, and this fight is continuing to stay even until Met decides to open fire, and the Zillas take control.
Yeah, you need Met to find openings like that. I mean, a 4K to turn the fight. If that's what they need, if that's what they have to call on, then so be it. Let Met be the one who styles on the entire team. Obviously, some good damage from the rest of the Zillas, but they still have a long road off this winding path of Shambali Monastery here. And with Booney and the rest of the team just pushing it in, Zinth with the barrage, it is going to get eaten up a bit by the side of Vind, but the picks are already in favor of the Schnabeltier. Has been the last man standing. He's gonna invest the bomb. That's actually maybe gonna catch, but no, it doesn't. It's denied. The shield from Booney just too good, and they're forced to back up yet again.
Vind is still trying so hard to do the work. They're gonna run out of time quickly if they don't find the fight that they need. The beat is gonna get dropped. The Schnabeltier are gonna start letting the Zillas have it. Witherin is gonna go down. Met and Vind go down, and the Schnabeltier, they show the Zillas who is on top in this fight.
Yeah, and with 2 fights left for the Zillas, they are coming up on some key ultimates. They do have the ultimate advantage in this fight. Vin's gonna make a desperation swap, and Neptune with an early pulse trying to connect there. Not actually gonna be able to find it. Vin's gonna go in and make a lot of space. Nice little wall from Spartan there to create some more. And double ult use, the overclock and the Blizzard on the point to really zone everybody into Met's LOS. Milo's popping off as well. The Zillas are going to manage to clean up, but Zinth is still in the back line, still being a nuisance for the rest of the team, still denying a bit of cart push. It's a question of, will the Schnabeltier get another touch on this point?
They don't have a lot of time to get there and try and shut this one down, but the Schnabeltier, the Zillas, they're going to look for every single fight that they possibly can. They've only got 2.3 meters to go and only 10 seconds to get there. It's going to be very close. The Schnabeltier are going to get in there. They're going to start popping a lot. Neptune is going to be going down. 3 seconds to go before the overtime pops, and the Zillas are managing to hold on. Zinth tries to pop the ultimate, but Vind says no and takes him down. And just like that, these Zillas find themselves onto the payload.
And the Zillas are actually going to push up. I think they do need this. I mean, you need to get all the space. You need to make it sure that Zinth can't get out. And Zainu Baba is actually going to get caught out. He's on such a weird angle, trying to crawl his way through a crevice back towards third point, but not going to be able to find it. So Now the Zillas have a chance to get a really big cart push. I'd love it if they stacked one more member on this cart, but it is still going to climb up slowly but surely here. Zanubaba is now finally back with the rest of the team for the Schnabeltier. They have this chance to take the contestation. Zinth looking at a crazy off angle to start off the fight.
Oh, Matt is going to get taken down. Zinth with that off angle comes in absolutely clutch, taking down a key member of the Zillas. The rest of the Schnabeltier now have very little fear as they get ready to go into the rest of the fight. Booney is going to be rushing in. The Annihilation probably going to be coming out here very, very soon, but the rest of the Zillas are forced backwards. They're not able to stay on the point. 1:23 left to go on that timer. The Immortality field gets dropped at the same time as Booney pops the Annihilation. Zinth is the one to go down. Vind, Witherin, and Spartan all go down on the side of the Zillas, and the Schnabeltier walk away with that one. They're looking really good as they take a 3-for-2 trade.
And the best part about that, only one ultimate used, and every single other alt DPS and support are on the brink for that team. So they're definitely setting up to hold this second point and not give the Zillas even an opportunity for the chance at this third point, which they desperately need, and they desperately need with a good time bank as well. So Vind now trying to push in, trying to take the Reinhardt straight towards Booney, but not able to find it, and Panini already makes the space with the window, counter window popped from Witherin here. But the picks are still going in favor of the Schnabeltier. Zinth is just on such a good off angle, but finally shut down there. Blitz is going to come through from Neptune. Vin's frozen up now in such a dire strait. Met needs to be the hero in this fight.
And Matt does manage to get the kill on his Zanubaba. He manages to follow through, taking down Panini. And then this is still looking to be very, very strong for the Zillas. They don't have a lot of time to get to this final checkpoint, but even still, will it be enough? Neptune is going to be going down on the side of the Schnabeltier. Booney is holding the line, tries to jump in to keep it contained, and in overtime, the Zillas are right there to get that final bit. They get to the checkpoint. They have 1.5 minutes to escort the payload the rest of the way. They barely even manage to scrape by the skin of their teeth every single time. But let's see if they can pull it out here. They got to start stacking that payload to get it moving quickly to give themselves more time at the end.
Yeah, and Booney making the swap over onto the Reinhardt, wants to mirror Vind here, so we'll see who wins the man-on-man between these two. But Zinth is already in, already doing some big damage. Neptune's explosive on the backline as well, and the pick's in favor of the Schnabeltier here. Neptune even going and hunting for more. Vind has to pin out. Witherin's just stuck against a wall, can't even escape. And the Schnabeltier, with how long that fight took, basically forced the Tokyo Zillas onto this last fight, and now Booney and Neptune setting up on an awkward angle. They're gonna act like they cleared them, and then Neptune's gonna go for damage on the backline, but it's a nice beat, and they're actually gonna find Neptune there, so advantage to the Zillas. They just have to keep it for the rest of this game.
And there's going to be a lot of kills. 3 down on the side of the Schnabeltier. And that's going to be more. 4. That's a team wipe. Well, not quite a team wipe, as 3 members did respawn. But the Zillas are able to keep the payload pushing. They're going to be looking to push this into 1 tiebreaker round. They've only got 4 seconds and overtime to get through it. But the Schnabeltier have got to jump in there quickly. And it looks like they're not even going to worry about it. Never mind. They're jumping in right here. The overtime is going to tick away. They've got to be careful. The Neptune is going to pop the ultimate, start to try and get a lot of damage out. The contest does come through. That's a lot of damage.
Shatter.
The shatter comes down on the side of Vin. That's going to drop Booney, preventing the shatter on the side of the Schnabeltier. And this is still going to be more damage coming through. Matt is going to be popping the rail gun. That's a lot of kills for the Zillas. And round 2 goes to the Zillas with 1 minute on the time bank. Things are still looking very much in favor of the Schnabeltier.
Yeah, 1 minute time bank against 3:30. I mean, if you're the Zillas, you got to spawn hold here. I think that's like your only option. Your composition, even though it can get snowballing near the end of points, it is not snowballing enough to like hold for the entirety of the time. We're focusing on them on the attack first. I'm wondering if they're going to keep this Rhine stylistic approach or go for something a little bit different here. Yeah, it looks like the exact same comp, but you got to remember, Neptune and Zinth, they both started out on the Pharah and the Junkrat at the start here, and the Junkrat and Pharah can just do so much damage to that Ryan shield, especially with Booney going over onto the Ramatra. This seems like, I don't mean to say it, but it seems like very, very tough position for Vin to be in, just trying to run it down main, up a hill into all this damage.
This is definitely going to be the moment where the Schnabeltier will be able to close this series out if they fight strong. And the Zillas, they've got to play some of the best Overwatch they've been playing so far if they want to keep this series alive. This is do or die time for the Zillas. Now the question becomes, is this where it happens? Or is this a moment where the Schnabeltier are going to finish this one off? The Zillas are getting a good push right now. They're getting along that getting up to that first corner, but the Schnabeltier, they're getting a good amount of poke in, keeping them distracted, hopefully getting themselves set up for the first real fight. Zinth gets a lot of damage. Spartan is going to be forced to go into the icicle to keep himself alive. The Schnabeltier, they're holding strong for right now, but the Zillas, they are keeping the push moving. Witherin is going to take a lot of damage, but not as much as Vind, and that if that tank goes down, that could spell disaster for the Zillas.
But the Zillas managed to take high ground. Vind actually opting over to the Ramatra. He saw this competition. He's like, no way, I'm not playing Ryan into this. So has a bit more range in this stylistic approach. Both tanks looking towards the back line. Neptune's actually going to be the first one to find that pick with the explosive mine. The point still being held onto. With Milo down, they don't have the speed to disengage from this fight. They have to stay in there. They have to stay fighting. Spartan uses the block on the point, but needs Vin to come in and be the savior. That's exactly what he is. Vin's still in this off angle. Synth is 1 HP, but manages to be uncontested, unperturbed. Now sneaks into the back line as Booney puts in work on the front. They're splitting them up. The tire explodes through, and the hold is going to be strong for the side of the Schnabeltier. They deny a snowball. They deny an opportunity. And even though it was a decent push from the Zillas, is that enough is the question.
I don't know. These Schnabeltier, they have so much time to work with for their round. All they have to do is push past that 54 meters. And you saw the way that Neptune used that tire to shut down Met. Met managed to slide into the back line, which could have been absolutely huge. But then there was a Junkrat tire that he was met to the face, which then the combined damage there allowed for Zinth to come in on the cleanup and just allowed the Schnabeltier to take over that one. So this is going to be an interesting opportunity here. Booney popping up onto the Doomfist. I think the Schnabeltier, they're just going to try and do what they can to run it down. They're running a completely different setup than what I was expecting.
Yeah, this is very different, but I think it might be just what they need. Actually, I don't know if Booney's just running this to like hang out on like a skybox and spawn or something, but I do kind of like this approach because it seems just like something new, something they just won't expect if they are going for it. You can see still a couple swaps going in on the point, but I don't know. It's a question of is, you know, the Zillas composition strong enough to withstand this? They still are really lacking that major mark on the Pharah. Met has to keep both the Pharah and the Echo so in check. And with the amount of angles they can take in the high ground that the Zillas want to hold, it's going to be very tough.
It is definitely going to be tough indeed. These Flyers have been just the absolute thorn in the side of the Zillas and the Schnabeltier. They're making so much work here. They are immediately around that first corner. They don't have that far to go. And the Zillas, they got to look at finding something nice and aggressive to hopefully be able to stop the Schnabeltier, but the Schnabeltier has so much time to work with. Neptune is going to be brought low, manages to get taken down. The Zillas are going to be looking pretty good so far on this first fight, but that's still, Spartan is getting very, very low, manages to stay alive, and still the fight continues. Matt getting a lot of damage, cleans up Zainu Baba, but Zinth is still alive, which is definitely a member that they have to keep in check. Booney finds 2, and then Booney gets traded away by Met. Met finally goes down, and this is a very even trade, but the Schnabeltier, they're able to get the members onto the point, and they're able to get that payload moving. They don't have far to go, and with that, the Schnabeltier are going to close this one out 3-1.
The Schnabeltier are going to be able to take home the first game of Aurora Esports Season 6. Big congratulations to Booney and the rest of the team. They looked absolutely amazing on these double flyer compositions, and I am very, very excited to see, you know, how the rest of the season comes to fruition for both of these teams, both showing up impressive in their own rights, but it is going to be Booney and gang taking it 3-1 in the first match.
It was a great match, and just honestly, I couldn't have been happier to see greeted with this type of a match for the opener for this season. It was a super great match between both teams. Both teams also have a lot of great opportunities. The Zillas, they had so many moments where they were looking really, really good. Even though they're coming out away at this one as the losers of 1-3, they definitely should not be taken lightly going into future games. There are still many opportunities where they could definitely be the shakeups in the rest of this league. They just got a few things they got to look at. Find those counters for those flyers, and then they'll really be able to start doing some work.
For sure. But now we're gonna move on to the map interview. And who on the Schnabeltier do you want to hear from? Zojalyx? Zojalyx?
I think I want to hear from the DPS themselves, Zinth, if we can get them in here.
Alrighty, I'll see if we can get Zinth in here. I messaged Panini. We'll see if he gets back to me in time or not. But while that happens, I think an overall amazing job for the entire side of the Schnabeltier. Once they found their rhythm, they were actually cooking. I love to see them play, see them compete, and they looked great the entire time. So big congratulations for them. I was a bit skeptical when I saw Booney get this team because there's a lot of unknowns. You had sort of like Zainu Baba, who's coming back from a season. You have and we do have Zinth in here for the match interview. So Zinth, congratulations on your victory and your return to success in Aurora Esports. I mean, you didn't really leave. You had like a week off, bro, and now you're back.
Yep. I'm glad to be back. Glad to be back in the MVP voice chat with the casters.
Yeah, so I gotta ask, first of all, obviously this is your second season. What do you think about this team compared to the Guangdong Magic Tigers? And you took the ring last season. Do you think this team can do the same?
Of course, our team. There's really no weak points in our team. We have really strong DPS, really strong support, and an amazing tank, as you saw from that last play of the game. But I think we're a well balanced team. I don't think one of us could be called weak.
Yeah. All right. And talk to me a little bit about playing with Neptune. Obviously, there's a big showdown between you and Neptune in the grand finals of last season, and I've gotten to play with Neptune. But what's been your experience playing with him on both DPS and support?
He's honestly really fun to play with because he lets me do what I want to do. He's able to support and back me up regardless if he's on like DPS or support. He follows me in regardless if it's a troll pick or if it's a troll anything.
Yeah, that's great. I love to see, the fun strategies coming in. I saw a lot of that. I mean, you guys did a few plays where you're just like, you just send Zinth into the backline, and this man can do anything. But you had Booney in there sometimes. You had Neptune in there sometimes going for big plays. I really love to see that your team's getting off to such a good start and is already so confident that you're getting a bit creative with it, too.
Yeah, of course. We've scrimmed before together. We realized our quirks of what we like to do in fights, but we got it down to like who we listen to when it comes to mid fighting, like who we're calling out for, and just all around, just we're just chilling. We're fine.
So if there was one thing that you guys would say would be your biggest area that you would want to look at to improve going into future games, what would be that thing that you would be looking for?
Not Ajaxing, because I know a lot of our teammates like to Ajax when they mess around on the frogman.
Yeah, Panini, I'm calling you out, bro.
Panini with the funny little button funny little button.
He's not your teammate. Do
Yeah,
not
he's not our
worry. He's
teammate,
a
but
ringer.
I know
Yeah.
but we all have a little fun with the Ajax. We will mess with you a little bit.
That's true. That's true. Anyways, I'll hit one more question. I know you guys were playing a lot of that double flyer comp. Do you feel like that's going to be your primary composition throughout the season, and obviously keeping you on Pharah primarily, or do you think you're going to flex around a bit more? I know you did have a few moments. You can go to that Soj, you can go to that Tracer. You have a lot of other heroes in your pool. What's the plan going forward, if I can ask a bit?
Um, I would say that our double flyer is probably our strongest lineup. I wouldn't say any of our lineups are supposedly weak because me and Neptune and all of us are able to flex around fairly well. But I think our double flyers are probably our main one. I think that's their best.
I think
Got it.
it is definitely the comp that worked out very well for you guys, and I think it will continue to be a really strong comp for you guys in the future for sure. Given that the meta stays in your guys' favor.
Yeah, who needs meta? We could just still play it regardless.
That's what I love to hear.
Yeah, and I think unless you have any other questions, Zojalyx, we're gonna move on to El Clasico.
Nope, I think we're good.
Alrighty, Zinth, congratulations on your MVP for this match and the victory 3-1 over the Tokyo Zillas. If you were not the match MVP for your team, who would be?
I honestly would have given it to Neptunes. Of course, with this game, it's a lot of you see a lot of numbers, you see a lot of kills, but Neptune just does everything in the background, giving us play by plays and giving us what ultimate needs to use that you just don't see in the numbers. He honestly should be MVP with his comms.
Yeah, gotta love the Neptune comms, but I think that's gonna be all for the side of us on the desk. Do you have any final words you want to say, Zinth?
Elko, I am coming for you. You're not gonna hide from me. You are my son. I will see you. I will see you soon.
Strong words. I'm trying to look at when you play.
I don't know if I ever play him. I just wanted to say that. I'll see him in the
Oh, you
finals
you,
if I don't play
you
him.
probably play him sometime.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll have to cast that match when it
That'll,
happens and
yeah,
get
that'll
the
be a
winner on the match interview.
it'll be definitely a quick match for Elko. He'll be ended pretty quickly,
He'll be
but
ended pretty quickly.
yeah,
Oh,
it's
strong word. Is he on the
The
Quails?
fighting words.
I don't know.
I think it's either. I think it's week 9 is when you guys face off. So you got a lot of
Oh,
time to get some practice in with the team before that.
yeah, it's okay. I could sleep through Elko's game. Me.
Alrighty. Well, thank you very much, Synth. And that's going to
Of
be
course.
all from us on the side of the broadcast desks. Again, this was War on the Cast. Joined alongside me was Zojalyx and Corey on the production. Do you want to close this out, Zojalyx?
I just want to say thank you guys so much for watching. This was an absolute banger of a match. Very excited to be here with the Aurora Esports, and I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your night. And we will see you guys right back here on Aurora Esports.